Hi guys, how's it going? Ivano here, and since 7.3 hit the live servers today, I decided to give Mercenary a try. First of all, of course, the replacement for Stealth Scan. The Hunter Killer Droid gives you 30% DR, and you can see it works all the time, even if you don't reveal any stealthers. So that should be a really big buff, especially for the Merc healers that can just stand inside the puddle and cast. So then I did some parses in Arsenal to see whether the damage buffs will be better than expected and maybe bring it back into A tier, where it hasn't been for a while, definitely not since 7.0. So the changes, of course, I already went over them in my other video. If you haven't seen that, check that out first. I'll put the link in the description below. But basically, the main change is that supercharged gas now lasts 12 seconds. So that's a buff by 4 seconds from before the patch. So you have a lot more uptime on the armor penetration, and that's good. I mean, also good for PvP, for bursting, of course. And then the other change was that the random charge implant now is not random anymore, but priming shot will always give you 3 stacks. So a bit more predictable, although you might be wasting some stacks than if you're, let's say, popping it at 9 stacks. So be careful of that. I did some parses just to see kind of the damage numbers. And in the opener, maybe you get to 35k DPS, but at the end of the parse, we are back below 29k DPS. And this is, of course, in the best case scenario on the dummy. So in a real game, of course, you're going to have way lower numbers than this. But roughly 28.5k, meaning that my tier list, where I put Arsenal in B tier as one of the balanced but not good specs, is probably spot on. Arsenal definitely needs some damage buffs still. Okay, then I tested the new tactical on a PPT, so went to the fleet, and it's of course energized Vambrace. If you don't already know what it does, basically gives you some stacks that buff the damage of your bleed, as well as the damage of your magnetic blast. So a nice boost for sustained DPS, but yeah, I'm kind of just repeating here what I already tested on the PTS, where the new tactical was barely any better than overwhelming offense, which is the standard DPS tactical that people were using before. Of course, Neural Trigger has been nerfed, so the question is which tactical we'll be using now. I gave it another try. The damage was not all that impressive, although in the first try that I did here, my crit was kind of low. The damage ended up being somewhere around the high 30k DPS, so better than Mercenary, but not all that great. So I switched back to Overwhelming Offense, did another try. So PT has received a passive buff, 5% bigger crits on all your important abilities. You can see the opener is absolutely crazy, hitting the 70k DPS briefly under explosive fuel. Fast forwarding now a little bit in the parse, you can see the DPS dropping, and towards the end of the parse, we are averaging out somewhere at 33k, which is quite good and definitely a buff for PowerTechs. So yeah, 33k with the old tactical, 31k roughly with the new tactical. The last parse was a little bit lucky with crits. The first parse, I guess, was on average expected. But long story short, I expect that the new tactical will be slightly better for sustained DPS, but only if you can keep the stacks up and if you can keep your bleed active on people. So in PvP, I'll probably not run it because PvP is going to be a lot more dynamic, of course, compared to parsing on a dummy. And Overwhelming Offense buffs your thermal detonator, it buffs your energy burst, so it gives you the damage where you need it. That's it for today, guys. If you enjoyed this video, please remember to leave a like, subscribe to my channel, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.